Hello students, we have talked about sexual reproduction in flowering plants in the previous chapter. Now as you know that human beings are also sexually reproducing organisms and they are viviparous also. So we will talk about this in chapter number 3, that is the human reproduction. So before we begin up with the learning of male and female reproductive system, now let's understand what are the various reproductive events or the basic reproductive events occurring in the human beings. The first is the gametogenesis. Gametogenesis involves the formation of gametes. If we talk about the gametes, two types of gametes will be produced by the humans. One will be the sperm, that is the male gamete. The process of formation of sperm is called as spermatogenesis, and other one is egg or ova, and this is a female gamete formed by females, and the process will be called as oogenesis. After this gametes is been formed, the male gamete sperm is transferred into the female genital tracts, and this process is called as insemination. Once the insemination is done, the male gamete sperm can fuse with the egg, and it may lead to the formation of a diploid single cell structure that is called as the zygote. So the fusion of the male and the female gamete to form a zygote is said to be fertilization. So this zygote will undergo repeated mitotic division and it will form a multicellular structure that is called as blastocyst or blastula. So this process of formation of blastula is done by repeated mitotic divisions, and this is known as cleavage. After the cleavage is done, so this blastocyst needs to be embedded in the wall of the uterus. Suppose this is the uterine wall, this is the blastocyst. So when this blastocyst gets embedded in the uterine wall, this process will be called as implantation. After the blastocyst has got deposited or embedded in the wall of the uterus, another event will begin, that is the placentation. Placentation is the formation of placenta. This is the formation of intimate connection between the uterine wall of the mother and the fetus, so that number of materials can be exchanged. Followed by placentation, gastrulation will begin. Gastrulation is the formation of 3 germ layers. Starting from outside, the 3 primary germ layers include ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. So whole of these 3 layers, germ layers, are destined to make certain tissues, organs or organ systems in the body. So that process of formation of organ systems or tissues from these germ layers is called as organogenesis. So after all the organs are formed, the fetus is fully developed, it has to be expelled out from the mother's body, and this act of expelling out the fetus, fully developed fetus rather, from the mother's body is called as parturition or childbirth. So students, these are some of the basic events which are taking place in the humans, or the basic reproductive events taking place in the humans. So now let's learn about the male reproductive system. So male reproductive system is located in the pelvic region of the human male, and it is including the testes, number of different ducts and different types of glands. So first of all we will talk about the testes. Testes are the oval structures which are located in a pouch like structure called as scrotum. So scrotum is a pouch of deeply pigmented skin which is divided into 2 separate sacs, and each sac is containing 1 testes. So what is the importance of scrotum? So during early fetal life, the testes develop in the abdominal cavity, but during the 7th month of the development, these testes will descend into the scrotum through inguinal canals. So now the question can come that why do testes descend into scrotum? The reason being is that the scrotum will provide about 2 to 3 degrees centigrade temperature less than the body temperature. That is, the scrotum will provide 2 to 3 degrees centigrade less temperature than the body, because the sperm development requires this temperature which is less than the body. That means the ideal temperature for the sperm development is about 2 to 3 degrees centigrades less than the body temperature. So the scrotum, if the testes fail to descend into the scrotum, the sperm development may not take place. Now let's talk about the testes. These are the testes. These are oval structures, and these are also known as the primary sex organs of the human males. Why these are said to be primary sex organs? Because they lead to the production of the male gamete, that is the sperm. So each testis is about 4 to 5 centimeter long and about 2 to 3 centimeter in width. That is, they are 2 to 3 centimeter wide. Now let's talk about the detailed structure of testes. Each of the testes is enclosing 3 layers, protective layers: tunica vaginalis, tunica albuginea, and tunica vasculosa. So, and inside these layers there are certain chambers. Here you can see different numbers of chambers are there. So each of this chamber is called as testicular lobule, and each testicular lobule is having about 250 each testis is having about 250 testicular lobule. Inside each testicular lobule you can see there are about these blue colored structures are there. So these are called as the seminiferous tubules. About 3 to 5 seminiferous tubules are present inside them. So these seminiferous tubules play a very important role because they help in the production of sperm and the male hormone. And these seminiferous tubules, you can see they are closed at one end, but on the other end they will join a network of tubes that is called as the red testes. So these red testes will further join fine capillary like ducts which are called as the vasa efferentia. So these they will arise from here, and from here there is another structure originating, that is the epididymis. 3 parts of epididymis are there: the caput, then the corpus, corpus and cauda epididymis. So the posterior end of this epididymis is called as the cauda epididymis. So the function of this epididymis is to store the sperms and also secrete a fluid which is considered to nourish the sperms. So after that there will be the origin of another tube-like structure which is called as the vas deferens. So here is another section of mammalian testes of humans. As we have learnt that there are number of chambers called testicular lobules having 3 to 5 seminiferous tubules. So this is the detailed structure of one of the seminiferous tubules. So there are number of seminiferous tubules, but I had drawn one. So each of the seminiferous tubule is consisting of one outer layer. This layer is called as the basement membrane. Followed by the basement membrane there is another layer which is called as germinal epithelium. So this majority of cells in the epithelium are cuboidal and they form the male germ cells. These are the male germ cells. These are also known as the spermatogonia. And at certain places there are present tall cells, and these tall cells are called as the Sertoli cells. So these cells are very important because let's talk about first of all bit about the development of the sperm. So over here we have focused one of the structure where the spermatogonia will develop into the primary spermatocytes, then a secondary spermatocytes will be formed, then there will be the formation of spermatids, and the spermatids will develop the tails and they will form the spermatozoa or the sperms. So after these spermatids are formed, they will embed their head in these Sertoli cells. These long tube like cells are there. So what is the function of these Sertoli cells? Sertoli cells will help in the nourishment. They will nourish the spermatids, right? And along with that, they will also secrete one protein, androgen binding protein, which will concentrate the testosterone, and they will also form one inhibin which will suppress the follicular stimulating hormones activity. This we will discuss in the coming topics, but for the examination you just learn that this Sertoli cell will nourish the spermatids, right? So after that you can also see some cells which are lying outside these seminiferous tubules. These are the clusters of cells which are called as Leydig's or interstitial cells. So these cells will produce the male androgens. For example, testosterone will be produced by them. So a question can come in exam that differentiate between the Sertoli cells and the Leydig cells on the basis of their position and function. So if we say the position, Sertoli cells are located inside the seminiferous tubules, whereas the Leydig cells are present in between the seminiferous tubules, and functions we have just discussed. So students, we have learned that testes are involved in the production of sperms and secretion of the male sex hormone, that is the testosterone. So you know that these will be picked up by the coiled structures called as the sperms will be picked up by the this epididymis, and from here they will enter the vas deferens. So vas deferens emerges from the cauda epididymis on each side, and it will leave the scrotal sac, right? And then it will loop over the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder. It will loop over the urinary bladder, and then it will be joined by a duct from the seminal vesicle. This is the seminal vesicle. A duct is here, and this will join over here, right? And this will form another duct which is called as the ejaculatory duct. So function of the vasa differentia is that it carries the sperm. Red testes, vasa efferentia, epididymis, and vasa differentia, these are called the male sex accessory ducts, right? So ejaculatory ducts, these are the two short tubes each formed by the union of the ducts of seminal vesicles and the vas deferens, right? So these ejaculatory ducts will carry the sperms and also the secretion of the seminal vesicles. Finally, they will join the membranous urethra. This whole structure is the membranous urethra. It is about 20 centimeter long in the male, and urethra serves a common pathway for the flow of urine and semen. After that, there is another organ, that is the penis, which is the male genitalia. Male copulatory organ is also its other name. So at the tip of the glans penis there is one slit like opening which is called as urinogenital aperture. So the penis is consisting of cylindrical masses of erectile tissues, and there is another structure which is enlarged at the end of the penis, and this forms glans penis, right? And the glans penis is covered by a loose fold of skin here which is called as the foreskin. So the penis is carrying both urine and semen, right? So along with these reproductive organs, uh, there are certain glands also which are helping in the reproduction in the males. The first one are the seminal vesicles. Here you can see these are the seminal vesicles. So seminal vesicles secrete seminal fluids whose pH is about 7.4, and their secretion will include fructose and certain hormones like prostaglandins and clotting factors. These factors are a bit different from those present in the blood. Next gland is the prostate gland. This is one single large gland. and these form about 25% of the volume of the semen. Their secretion will include citric acid and enzymes, and due to the presence of citric acid, it is slightly acid, and secretion of the prostate gland will nourish the sperms, and it will also activate the spermatozoa to swim. Then you can see over here there is another pair of gland which is called as bulbourethral glands or Popper's gland. So these are present on either side of the membranous urethra, right, and these will secrete an alkaline fluid. So they also secrete mucus that lubricates the ends of the penis and lining of the urethra. They also neutralizes the acid from urine in the urethra. So by this the damage which is caused to the sperms can be decreased. So secretions of these glands include the seminal plasma, and seminal plasma along with this sperms is called as semen, right? So semen when ejaculated, it contains about 200 to 300 million spermatozoas, right? So note down, about 200 to 300 million spermatozoa are released from the penis during ejaculation, right? And pH of this semen is about 7.35 to 7.50, and its alkalinity will help to neutralize the acidity of the urethra left from the passage of urine, and this will protect the sperms from the acidity of the vagina also, right students? So we have talked about the primary, and the primary organ was the testes, which is secreting the male gametes, and the secondary sex organs that are the prostate, seminal vesicles, vasa deferentia and penis, right? So what is the basic function of the male reproductive system? That is spermatogenesis, that is the production of sperms, and also there will be the production of male sex hormones like testosterone. The copulatory organ, that is penis, will transfer sperms into the vagina of the female during copulation, right? So students, from examination point of view, learn the detailed structure of seminiferous tubules and function of each part of the male reproductive organ. I hope you have understood this topic. Thank you, and have a nice day.